ladies and gentlemen. It's Thursday night. We're here at the River's Edge Network in Millville, Pennsylvania. This is POVincent. How you doing, everybody? I am your host, comedian Vincent Didiano, and with me, of course, is my comrade in comedy, Eric Williams. Eric, how's it going, baby?
It's going pretty good, comrade Vince.
There we go.
It goes well. I am farmer receiving communist aid from president. It's what they do after we give him election.
And we just lost 10 viewers. What's up, everybody?
Oh no, all of Westmoreland County.
We'll keep it light, everybody. Anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in to a new episode of Vincent. We hope you're all doing well out there. And we've got, guys, goddamn, we got a lot to talk about this week. Some of the stuff was something, one thing with one I wanted to talk about last week, but we didn't have time for it. But we got chock full of shit to go through. Excuse my language, I'm sorry. So here we go. So last week, around I think almost maybe the day of our last episode, there was a big news in movie land. Probably a lot of you have heard about it. It's been making the news rounds in all the entertainment biz, all that stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, director James Gunn, who most people will be familiar with for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. A lot of people have come to love this guy through those two movies because they just, those movies are so much fun, entertaining, good acting, little stories. And what happened was, apparently James Gunn hasn't always been, Mr., I guess we'll say PC. What happened was, according to an article on Deadline.com, the open question now is whether or not James Gunn will follow through on plans. He tweeted to come to San Diego Comic-Con today for Sony Pictures panel, and I don't think he did show up. Or I say he didn't show up. So what happened was he said made a political statement and about the news, and in retaliation, people dug up some very old tweets of his from his Twitter account, about 10 years old, I believe. It was about 9 or 10 years old. And
back that old already?
Yeah, I remember Twitter being. I remember the creator of Twitter being on Colbert promoting it and stuff like that. I remember that. And what happened was, back then, James Gunn would say a lot of things for shock value. He was always trying to get some attention. He was still trying to make.
He was the Alex Jones of directing.
Yeah, pretty much. So he said some stuff which I'm not going to repeat on here.
Because it's awful.
Yeah, all I'll say about it is it's not funny, it's not creative, it's not witty. Even he admitted in a statement recently, he just said it for shock because he just didn't know. He was just trying to get attention. This was how he knew to get attention. He was making movies at the time, but he wasn't big. He wasn't, as well known as he is now. So that's who he was.
Maybe I should have called him the Rush Limbaugh of directing.
Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, he said some awful things over the years. I
know.
There was a time he was like, I'm just gonna make up words and say I speak Chinese. He called Chelsea Clinton a dog, which is just when she was a small person. We're comedians. We understand joking. First of all, when you are a right-wing political pundit, you are not a comedian. And secondly, people's kids, I will say, people talk about, oh, what can you or can't you talk about? You don't talk about kids, especially if someone who you are not friends with. Maybe with your friend, when there's a context and understanding, but you don't, you don't fuck with Mama Bear. You don't fuck with Mama Bear or you get eaten. Those are the rules.
Eric Williams laying it down. So he got fired from Disney. That means James Gunn will not.
He fucked with Mama Bear.
Yeah. He's not going to. He's fired from Disney. That means he's not going to be directing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which has disappointed a lot of people. Some people think this was a good idea, but honestly, he's getting a lot more people coming to his defense. As far as I know, basically most of the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy has come to his defense. Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista's been very vocal about it. including some other people like comedian Bobcat Goldthwait, which some old
director.
Yeah, director, and but more people probably know him for playing that crazy character from the Police Academy movies. But he still does a lot of other stuff. He's come to James Gunn's defense but if some of you might remember, he voiced one of the henchmen in the '90s Hercules movie that Disney did, and his character's voice is still used on Disney rides, and he has requested that Disney remove his voice from all their stuff because of what has happened to James Gunn.
I'm Bobcat Goldthwait. You can't use my voice anymore.
That sounds like a hybrid of Bobcat and Pee Wee Herman. But yeah, so this is...
What if Bobcat exposed himself in a movie theater?
Getting all nostalgic. So here's the real question here. Here's where we're going with this here. Do we judge the man based on this one controversial thing? And once again, based on the tweets I see, they're dumb. They really are dumb. Do we we judge him on that, or do we judge him by his soul? I say we judge him by his soul, and also keep in mind that time changes people. People change. I am not the same person I was 10 years ago. In many ways I am, but in many other ways I am not. 10 years ago, I would not be running a podcast. I would not have been a stand-up comedian. I would have been too afraid to do that kind of stuff. Nowadays, I've changed. And, some things, views I had back then, I don't have them now. Point is, people evolve. People change. So I'm against the firing of James Gunn, and I hope Disney corrects this.
Okay, so I'm going to try not to derail this too much because we have a lot to cover today. But there is a larger issue. There's a larger issue at play here, and things that we will be discussing as we become more of a woke society, or to be more correct, the more that we have access to information and everything is recorded. I would generally say that human beings are awful. We all, that's the reason that we have poor memories. Because if we were capable of remembering everything, we would just be like, oh my gosh, I'm awful all of the time. And life would be even more unpleasant than it already is. But to quote my friend Michael Cohen, we are all human garbage, still worthy of love and compassion. But the thing that you left out, you said he made a political comment. He got attacked by a right-wing blogger and pundit, Mike Cernovich. Mike Cernovich dug it up, I believe, as I understand things, and he was like, "Oh, Disney, look at what James Gunn did." Mike Cernovich is an accused rapist, so it becomes like, wait, what are the relevances of people's history? Do we listen to the accused rapist about the, true, undeniable, awful things that James Gunn said? And they also become a weird thing when you get into Hollywood and comedy, trying to figure out your lines. And also, again, people are awful. We do awful things all the time. What are the limits of forgiveness? And when do we say this is a permanent mark of you that we can forever measure you by and judge you for?
Yeah, it can be a tricky rope to walk along. But, ladies and gentlemen, it's like that the Bible verse. He was out, sin cast the first stone. I think we all need to be a little understanding. And I'm not saying, you gotta forgive everybody, but you gotta balance some stuff out. You really gotta look at it all. All right, guys, we gotta move on to our next story. And basically, our next bunch of stories are all about Comic-Cons. They're trailers in and around Comic-Con. And the first one...
Time out. We just got real serious about, that whole James Gunn story, and neither of us made a Annie get your gun joke. Or, we've all the puns that we passed up, why don't they call him Jimmy Pistol? Ah! Okay, maybe it was good we passed that up.
I'm gonna say we can't fly too close to the sun, Eric. But anyway,
we might get fired by Disney.
Yeah, you can't. We're making an Icarus movie. You can't talk about. But anyway, last week we talked about the teaser trailer for this upcoming movie. I had my shirt. My shirt's in the laundry right now. But regardless, I am still a big Godzilla fan, and the trailer for the 2019 Godzilla trailer, for 2019 Godzilla movie came out, and I got a kick out of it. In this movie, we see young actress Millie Bobby Brown, who most people will know from Stranger Things. She plays 11 in that, and she is awesome in that series. I believe she's the main character in this. She's throughout most of the trailer. And in this movie, Godzilla has returned. This is a sequel to the 2014 film. And now more and more of the monsters are popping up. And it seems to be due to some organization out there run by Vera Farmiga, who a lot of people will know from the Bates Motel TV series. She seems to be running or the head of or the face of some organization that believes humanity is destroying the earth and the monsters, these historic creatures, are returning to reclaim the earth and like punish humanity and kill off humanity and save the planet in the process. And Millie Bobby Brown's character seems to be caught somewhere in the middle, because you also have the Monarch organization from the first film, the government-run organization that goes out and finds these creatures. So there's going to be a lot of like group against group activity. Who can find the monsters first? At least that's what this appears to be. They seem to be keeping track of Godzilla ever since he first appeared. But this other group, they seems like they found some of the other classic monsters that Toho Studios has allowed Lionsgate to use. Like we have Mothra showing up, who I know a lot of people like to make fun of Mothra because she's a giant moth, and people are like, what's scary about a giant moth? But the thing is, in the old films, she was one of Godzilla's rivals. It's hard to believe, but she gave as good as she got. And
moths are freaky, all right?
Yeah.
Like they're like the creepy uncle of butterflies. Like if butterflies are like, the beautiful thing, out in there, and you're like, oh, there's a picnic and there's a beautiful butterfly. But like moths are like the boogeyman insect in your closet. They're like, hey, I'm in here.
I'm gonna eat your clothes.
Oh, they're delicious. Oh man.
Oh man. Oh, turtlenecks. I love them. But anyway, so yeah, other monsters we got in this film is the giant pterodactyl creature Rodan, who was another rival of Godzilla's back in the day. They fought in the movie Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, which leads us to the next monster in the movie, King Ghidorah. If those of you aren't familiar with the Godzilla franchise, King Ghidorah is one of Godzilla's greatest monster rivals. He's in the original films. He, of course, like the other others, he was giant. He was a three-head golden scale space dragon that spit lightning bolts. And seriously, he was so powerful that Godzilla could not beat him alone. He had to team up with Rodan and Mothra to beat him in the original film. So in that sense, this new movie is kind of a remake of that film, because these three monsters, I presume, are going to have to come together to beat King Ghidorah. And I'm really excited for that. I just hope, like I said last week, the problem with the other film was there seemed to be a lack of Godzilla, and now with four monsters, I hope they can balance that out. The other cool thing about the trailer, I will say, is that it appears to be, at one point, a submarine in some kind of underwater ruins that has like pictures or hieroglyphs of the monsters. Apparently, they've uncovered some ancient civilization that was aware of the monsters. It's probably going to be Atlantis, because it's always freaking Atlantis in these kind of stories. It's like, Atlantis was real, and they knew stuff we didn't. Yeah, if only we knew what they knew.
Could you please become a professor of Godzilla? Like, if that's a job, like, you need to look at it. If that's not a job, then I just want to see you, like, do the play-by-play for a Godzilla movie. Like, you were so excited and knowledgeable. It was like me talking about the NBA and no one in Pittsburgh caring. Except that I cared. But the passion, man, I just want to be... And now we've got Godzilla facing off against King Ghidorah. Yes. Godzilla looks especially angry and didn't brush his teeth today. Also, it sounds like this Godzilla movie just has the same plot as Aliens.
Oh, I guess so, kind of.
We've got groups facing off. There's stuff happening. Oh, look at the other monsters we can introduce you to. One of them might be a queen. No, just kidding. It's a king.
Oh! And the one thing is, I heard this from a buddy of mine who's also a movie person, that there's a rumor that Millie Bobby Brown, if this is true, this will be kind of weird considering her character on Stranger Things. There's a rumor that her character in this movie will have some degree of psychic ability and can communicate with the monsters, which, if that's true, believe it or not, that's actually nothing new to the Godzilla franchise.
I was gonna say that's kind of a monster horror trope. Like, I mean, if you're reading something by Stephen King, and then of course Stephen King is horror and not all monsters, but like there's like a 79% chance there's either going to be a psychic or something's going to happen to people as kids, and then they're going to grow up and it's going to happen again.
Yeah. Oh, man. But anyway, I'll be interested to see how that turns out. But anyway, as Eric said a few minutes ago, we got a lot of trails to get through. So let's get on to the next one.
Getting on? Is that what we're doing?
We're getting on Get It with Glass. Ladies and gentlemen, this movie I'm really pumped for, okay? For those of you who don't know, this is the third installment in which I guess you could call this the Unbreakable franchise. Because earlier in the 2000s, M. Night Shyamalan was coming up. He was getting big. He made a movie called Unbreakable, starring Bruce Willis, in which he is a man.
Was that his second or his third?
Second.
Okay.
Unless I'm remembering incorrectly, I believe that's it.
I don't know. Let's see. Of course, The Sixth Sense came out, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then I think Signs might have been the second movie.
Well, let's look it up. We're
going
gonna look it up.
Internet.
Yes.
Or God for millennials.
Yeah. So here we go. Unbreakable 2000, and where is it? Oh, producer. Screw that. No, wait, not right. Wait, director. Here we go. Director. Sixth Sense and then Unbreakable. Yeah, okay. Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, then Signs, then The Village, then Lady in the Water, then Happening, then Last Emperor, then Unbreakable.
Wow, that's just a downhill progression.
It really was. And then
The Last Airbender.
Yeah, oh, poor M. Night. Remember when people saying he was the next Spielberg? Remember that?
Well, okay. Honestly, he got summed up the best by the South Park Imagination Land trilogy when South Park was still fantastic. No, they did. They're trying to solve the imagination.
Oh yeah,
problem.
they bring in all different directors,
yep.
Right? And
Shyamalan is like, okay, and then it turns out he was a girl the whole time. And they're like, that's not a plot, that's a twist. And they bring in like Michael Bay's like, and then explosion. And finally they bring in Mel Gibson. He's like, okay, here's what you do, blah blah. And they're like, say what you will about Mel Gibson, that man knows his story structure. But he changed things up a bit with with Split. Because the twist at the end of Split was you were watching a sequel and didn't know it the entire time.
For those of you who haven't seen Unbreakable, it stars Bruce Willis.
And we just ruined it for you.
Yeah, we pretty much, okay.
No, he ruined it making Glass. Like, it was like, oh, I remember that movie. You didn't know it's a sequel. It's a sequel now because I'm making a trilogy and all the entertainment articles about it are going to call it the Glass trilogy.
Yeah. It's just like Bruce Willis finds out he has superpowers. When he touches people, he can get these psychic visions if they've done evil, and then basically he has super strengths and he can beat them up. And as the movie suggests, he's unbreakable because the movie starts with him getting in a total train crash in which everybody on the train dies, but he's the only one who survives, and he doesn't have a single mark on him. He does have one weakness, which I won't spoil that because we're spoiled. And then last year, the movie Split came out, starring James McAvoy and Anya Taylor-Joy, where James McAvoy plays a kidnapper/serial killer who has 23 personalities. He's got split multiple personalities. He's got 23 of them, and a 24th one is emerging called the Beast. And this is the one, and like some of the personalities have gathered together to basically do as the Beast wants. There's like his own henchmen are himself in a way. So it's kind of weird. And the movie was ending where he actually turns into this monstrous version where he was eating people, and he was like ripping like steel, and he was like climbing up walls. And at that point I remember seeing it, I was like, okay, am I really supposed to buy this? And the movie was actually really good, and James McAvoy was fantastic in that film.
He was excellent.
He was awesome. It wasn't like every personality felt distinct. It wasn't just he changed his voice. It wasn't just changing the clothing. He had mannerisms, and he really made each character feel like his own character. And then at the end of the movie, blah blah happens, and like the murders are on the news, and it's, people are watching in a diner, and one person's like, what was the name of that one killer from years ago who caused those accidents? And then you see Bruce Willis go, Mr. Glass. And you're like, holy crap, there's a backdoor sequel to Unbreakable. And now it all makes sense why James McAvoy can turn into this monster thing, because we're in a universe that's established to have people with superhuman abilities. And that really, if it wasn't for that twist, M. Night did it again. If it wasn't for that twist at the end that was revealed that we're in the Unbreakable universe, that ending of him actually becoming a monster would have just probably killed the movie so badly. But it didn't, and it worked. So M. Night was back on top, and people were like, yes, he's back. He's learned from his mistakes. He's just doing what he could do enough of these weird...
Everyone said that, and then we're gonna watch Glass.
Don't do
and
that.
It's gonna turn out that The Village was a prequel to the entire...
No!
Well, should we have a future segment where we just raised, the worst 3 or 5, M. Night Shyamalan movies?
We are now. That's happening, baby. That's happening, baby. We'll do it next week if we got time.
The issue again is that, always, when you hinge on that twist, it's like, oh, man, I saw The Village... Not The Village. I saw Lady in the Water in theaters with a buddy of mine, and I was really actually enjoying it a lot up until the very end. And I don't know if it's because I was really stoned and the pot wore off, or just because the twist, it was just all of a sudden it was like, oh, hey, this lady that we thought was the healer, who's the important part of this weird myth, fable narrative we've established, isn't actually the lady we thought it was. It's really the main character who we've established as a doctor whose family died and hasn't practiced doctor medicine since then. Okay, cool. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, now that's not literally, it was just a Deus Ex Machina, except instead of it being a man in the machine, it was just Frankie Rodriguez pumping, staring and pumping
like that one arm that had that one big bulky arm he only pumped up.
Paul Giamatti was fantastic in that. The scene where there's a scene where to figure out the history of what's going on.
Oh, he's got like a kid?
No, he. Oh yeah, when he's acting like a kid.
Yeah, this one woman won't give him information unless he acts like that was the thing that killed all of M. Night's movies. He made all the characters have these really weird quirks. It didn't make them interesting. It just made them weird and awkward to watch. It's like M. Night. Go ahead, have some characters like that. That's fine. Those characters like that can be memorable, but you got to have some normal people to ground some stuff here.
He does not seem like he shared toys as a child. He does not look like someone who plays well with others. He appears to be someone, from what I can tell, who has too much artistic control. Because the thing is, as a cinematographer, he's actually excellent. You break down his movies and pretty much visually they're all super impressive, but the twist is not a plot, and quirkiness is not character development.
Yeah. But anyway, we probably should be getting on. We got to get on to the next one. But anyway, regardless, I'm really looking forward to Glass because it shows all 3 characters, Bruce Willis's character, James McAvoy's character, and Samuel Jackson, who was the villain in the first movie. All 3 of them are in a mental asylum right now being studied by a doctor who studies people who believe that they are superhumans. And it's come together where all the characters from the first 2 films are meeting each other. Anya Taylor-Joy, who was a kidnapped victim, and the hero and the protagonist of Split, she's coming back, and she's probably the only one that could maybe deal with James McAvoy's character because she actually made a connection with a few of the other personalities. So she's coming in. Bruce Willis is meeting them. We see in the trailer that these 2 are going to fight, and both of them have super strengths, but they also have their own particular abilities. And I'm just really looking forward to it. And since the movie's called Glass, I can't wait to see what's going on with Samuel Jackson's character in this. Because the only thing we do see is that he does approach James McAvoy's character, and he wants to talk to the Beast. He wants to team up of villains because he's in Unbreakable. He shows that he loves comic books, and now he's accepted it. He's a supervillain, and now he wants that comic book supervillain kind of team up thing. So I'm really excited for it.
Prediction right now, it looks good. I'm excited to figure out what sort of powers the protagonist from Split has. But my prediction for the ending of Glass, it turns out they never left the island in the first place.
We're spoiling all kinds of things for all kinds of people. But anyway, we got to move on because DC released a few comic book trailers this past weekend for their DC Extended Universe. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to talk about the boy superhero, Shazam! Ladies and gentlemen, we also got to see Shazam. For those of you who don't know, Shazam is the comic book superhero about Billy Batson, a young kid who is granted powers by the immortal wizard Shazam to become a superhero. In a lot of ways, he's kind of like Superman. He's a big, beefy, bulky superhero. He can fly. He's got super strength. But unlike Superman, his powers are based in magic. So that can allow for a few things. And in this trailer, we see that Billy Batson, he's moving from foster home to foster home. And finally, he seems to land in one that's good. He meets this one of the foster kids that's gonna be his like brother, who's really into superheroes. He's got all these different superhero T-shirts on. He's got like a batarang somehow. Like he's got all this like memorabilia that he's collected.
Time out. Are you just telling me that they made a side character in Shazam who is literally every little nerd that will want to see the movie?
Eric, I'm saying they're using strategy. We're using strategy, drawn in. So yeah, and Billy in the trailer we see him stand up for his like foster brother because these bullies are literally just beating the crap out of this kid right in front of school.
Because he's a comic book nerd.
Exactly.
This is so relatable.
He's beating the crap, and he like attacks the bullies. They start chasing him. He ends up in the subway, and then the subway transports to this magic cave. He meets the wizard. Boom! Turns him into Shazam in an adult body. And then him and his foster brother get back together, and he's like, I don't know this stuff, you know this stuff. And we just have this montage of him testing out his superpowers and stuff like that. And it's just funny to see Zachary Levi, who's playing the adult version of Billy Batson, aka Shazam, him just kind of act like this adult man, acting like a big kid, and they're not hiding it like he's a superhero. They're walking around in the daytime, and he's got like lightning powers, so he's walking by people and charging their phones with like a little tap of his finger, and he's just like, and they go to like a 7-Eleven, and these people are robbing it, and they shoot him, and the bullets bounce off, and they're like, oh, you've got bullet immunity. He's like, I'm bulletproof, and then he just looks at the robber, he's like, you're dead, and then he like throws him out a window. And then as he's going out to 7-Eleven, they grab a whole bunch of like soda cans and candies and snacks, and are like, "Oh, sorry about your window. We did save you from a robbery." And then he like looks at a cute girl. He's like, "Hey, I'm a superhero. What's up?" Like,
I think it's interesting that we're in the nostalgia era. Like everything for the 80s and the 90s, like generally our generation, it's like, hey, look what we can do. And whereas Marvel has been like the emerald of this, they've just been like bam, and we're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. DC has been the old yeller of this.
yeah,
They have just been like bam, bam.
yeah.
But I think they've been learning.
I agree.
Because the thing that Marvel has figured out is that when you add humor, especially a little bit of self-effacing humor, like it allows us to continue our extension of disbelief, and it also keeps things from getting too gritty. I know you weren't a huge fan of Thor Ragnarok. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I was really impressed with how you have like the probably darkest premise and themes and stuff going on up until Infinity Wars, and it was hilarious. Literally, like Bruce Banner comes out of the Hulk and he's like, I've been having a dissociative episode for 2 years. Like, what? And I'm on an alien planet? Oh my god. Like, and Thor's just like, yeah, my dad just died, and so did like half of my people, and my homeland's been completely destroyed. But like, here are some jokes because I'm handsome.
I'm not going to go into Thor Ragnarok. I'm not.
But my point is that combination. It allows a balance, and my theory here is that part of the reason that DC has been so bad at their live-action movies is not because of editing issues and too much on-screen darkness, but largely, I think, it's because they've been so successful with their animated films.
Oh, yeah.
are extremely gritty, but that's because when you are an animated thing, it's a natural it's a natural antidote to the grittiness. And when you take that same grittiness and put it to live action, it's just like, oh my gosh, you guys, you realize you just put habaneros on top of sriracha and then added sugar to it? What?
Yeah, that's the thing. There's things that just work better in animation. Like, for instance, you could put Captain Boomerang in an animated movie and he's not going to come off as ridiculous because he's even if they draw him really realistically, because you've seen sometimes like some really beautiful animation that's like so lifelike, like I'm going to bring up Heavy Metal, even though that was rotoscoped. I'm aware of rotoscope, but it was so realistic. But there was like still things in that was goofy. But you can get away with that, especially. And plus, these animated movies, they're not handled by the same studio.
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, it's DC, but it's not the same people in charge of the live action. They have their animation studio, and it's all under one umbrella. But like we're on this side of the umbrella, you're on this side of the umbrella.
I feel like, and I could be wrong, but I feel like the live action has been trying to imitate the successful animated formula. And it's just like, no, you guys. Like, if you have fresh pasta and you have dried pasta, you want to do different sauces because different sauces are better for each of them.
Now I want pasta. Thanks, Eric.
I know, man. I could really go for a sausage, cream, and Parmesan sauce.
All right, stop talking. Stop talking about the ingredients, Eric.
Because
we've got
to get to our next thing.
Yeah, I'll say one more thing before we move on to our next trailer, which is another DC title. We'll get to that. I'm glad to see that DC is really moving forward in a better direction. And I think Shazam, at least what we see in the trailer, I hope the movie turns out to be the same. With this movie, they are really embracing the fact that what if a kid was a superhero and like he wasn't like and he's got like a little tragic backstory, I guess, because he's a foster kid. Where I don't know how Billy's parents died or whatever, or if he's remember it. But the whole trailer is just like two kids having fun because one of them has superpowers.
Is Shazam kind of reverse Hulk? Follow me, like Bruce Banner is like, hey, I'm like a scientist, I'm really smart and stuff, and probably not good with women. Equations, radiation, and then the Hulk is just like, I'm strong. What math? But like the Hulk is essentially a kid as a superhero. Like a super strong character, but essentially mentally and emotionally, the Hulk is basically a child just in a giant's body, whereas Shazam, you literally have a child in an adult's body.
Yes.
With lightning powers.
Yes,
it's like if Pikachu were just in a grizzly bear.
Yeah. What? I don't necessarily disagree. Imagining a grizzly bear with like Pikachu's like little red spots on his cheeks where like the lightning goes out. You know what I'm talking about? Oh my god! Holy crap!
It looked like a really badass bear clown.
Yeah. But anyway, I've had a lot of problems with the DC films, with a couple of exceptions. So I'm excited for this one. And that's saying something considering where I was 2 years ago on these films. But anyway, moving on to the next DC title. Ladies and gentlemen, Marvel had their breakout king with Black Panther, and DC's hoping to follow up the same with their king, Arthur Curry, a.k.a. Aquaman. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Momoa, who we saw first cameo in Batman v Superman. I hate that film. And then having a larger...
because you have good taste, friend.
Thank you. By the way, I'm always going to find someone to take a jab at that movie when we're talking about DC films. It's always going to happen. If it doesn't happen, I expect somebody to tell me, let me know I missed, so I can do it twice on the next episode.
The only good part of that movie was the scenes from Wonder Woman that weren't in Wonder Woman.
But anyway, yeah, so Jason Momoa, who I think he seems like a really cool guy. I've seen like videos of him online talking. He seems like a really cool, fun, down-to-earth guy, but at the same time who can drink beer and throw tomahawks very accurately. I don't know if you've seen that video, but it's really cool. He's returning as Arthur Curry, a.k.a. Aquaman. In this film, after the events of Justice League, despite the fact that everything that happened, Aquaman is still staying away from the underwater city of Atlantis and its people, despite the fact that apparently he is the prince and the rightful heir to the throne. In this movie, we find out the woman from the last movie, played by Amber Heard, Amira, is once again tracking him down and telling him, hey, you really need to come back and be the king because your stepbrother, who's the current king, is about to launch an all-out war against everybody who lives on land, so stop screwing around. So in a lot of ways, this is going to get it's already been getting a lot of comparisons to Black Panther, which is why I brought it up. King who's got to take the throne, and then he's got to deal with like a relative that he didn't know about. So that's going to draw. So a lot of comparisons have already been drawn to that. In some defense, I will say Aquaman as a character, has existed before Black Panther. I think Aquaman first appeared sometime in like the 50s, early 60s, and the Black Panther showed up in the late 60s, early 70s. So yeah, I mean, you're just going to get these kind of comparisons when you, especially like in the same year. I mean, Black Panther was just earlier this year. Black Panther was just like 5-6 months ago.
3 things.
Bring it.
Okay. First of all, this sounds like DC's Hamlet. Secondly, how far into the movie do you think we're going to have to wait until Khaleesi gets her dragons? And thirdly, forget who came first, Black Panther or Aquaman. Who came first, Aquaman or the character we will never see on screen, Namor?
The Submariner, yeah. As far as I know, the Submariner, who, if you don't know, he's Marvel's Aquaman, except, well, he's, from what I understand, I believe the character is very egotistical, and the only person he actually respects is, like, Black Bolt, because he can scream him into oblivion. There was a comic panel one time where I believe he paid respects to Black Bolt, because Black Bolt's power... We're getting so nerdy here, but we're going to keep going. Black Bolt is a character from the Marvel Universe. You may have seen him in the Inhumans live-action series. And if
we did, we're sorry.
Yes.
We are so sorry.
But don't base that character off of that. His power is that he has... His voice just has power, and even a whisper could blow a car in half. So at full scream, he's literally like knocked over Thanos, the Hulk. Apparently there was even a cosmic entity at one point that was afraid of him speaking in that direction. So, but yeah, Namor, yeah, we're never going to see it. I actually think his movie rights are owned by Fox or something. I remember years ago I saw a chart of where, like, this is like 4 years ago, I saw a chart of which studios owned which characters, and I think Namor belongs to Fox for some reason.
I could be wrong, but I think it's one of those things like Cowboy Bebop where no one entity has the rights all to themselves. It's divided up like Horcruxes, and in order for the movie to get made, they all need to get destroyed and united into one. And it just seems very unlikely because, Fox owns Harry Potter, so they're not letting that happen. Do they? I just guessed. I don't know. I assume Disney just owns everything now. I think Disney owns my apartment.
Disney owns my computer. Disney owns my Q-tips at home. They own everything. But yeah, so going back to Aquaman. So yeah, this movie is seeming it looks like there's gonna be some globetrotting because there was a part in the trailer where Aquaman and Mera they jump out of a plane and into the desert. Which, that could be a cool scene because one of Aquaman's weaknesses is that when he stays away from water too long, he dehydrates extremely quickly.
Time out. You're literally telling me that Aquaman is a fish out of water story.
Yes. I don't know how else to make that any funnier than just saying it out loud like Eric just did. I'm not even going to try. But yeah, I don't know. And it's going to have some classic stuff.
I just kind of hope there's a scene where, like, at some point he's just on the floor, like, and someone's like, get a cup of water now! I don't care if it's Gatorade, go! It has electrolytes.
And antioxidants.
He's a saltwater fish!
Yeah. Well, oh god. So yeah, the Aquaman trailer looks pretty good. It seems fun. I did have a friend of mine ask me what I thought, but they were like, "What did you think of the special effects in the trailer?" And they said they didn't like. They said the special effects looked pretty bad, and I was like, "Well, they look okay to me." And I went back and I watched the trailer. I watched it a second time. I think I've watched it 3 times at this point. And I guess the special effects could be better, but I don't think they're that bad. But plus, most of the special effects you see in the movie are for underwater scenes, so the water.
I feel like Hollywood. So I'm not an expert with the cinematography or the filming. I've been involved, as you have, with some short films, and the visual stuff is not my area. But it seems to me like underwater special effects are really tough. Because they have messed up and submarined some movies and franchises. Phantom Menace! But, I mean, with the exception... And it's one of those things, like, certain things, if you pull off really well, you're a classic. Of course, Terminator 2 is a great action film, but the special effects that they did with T-1000 in 1992, and similarly, The Abyss...
Oh, I love The Abyss.
Which is something that spends a lot of time underwater, but they pulled it off right. And I don't know if it has to do with picking the right color of film that you're using or figuring out how to make it so that all the blue backdrop doesn't look fake like it does when Jar Jar Binks was ruining the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, special effects can be a really tricky thing. It's not just the texture of the CGI characters. It's the lighting. Lighting's a big thing. Lighting is usually like if you watch much as I love Marvel, you can always tell when Iron Man's CGI because the way the light off his arc reactor in his chest comes off. You can tell, the scenes where Robert Downey Jr. is just wearing the body costume, and you see the light shine off the chin of the helmet on the Iron Man suit, and then you see CGI and you don't see the same kind of shine. It's little stuff like that I'll notice. And yeah, the way the color grading of the film and the grittiness, going back to another DC film, Justice League. Justice League got a lot of hate for the CGI working out, especially with the main villain Steppenwolf, who was completely CGI.
Why do you hate yourself, Vincent? I'm sorry.
Eric, this is a show about movies.
Had to go through that.
Eric, stop. Don't make me talk about it.
I owe a decent amount of my mental happiness in life to you and Zach Funk because because a lot of times when comic book movies come out, first of all, I'm normally too poor to pay the $37.50 that it is to see the movie in the theater, but also I just kind of wait to see what you and or Zach say, and if you just make a Facebook post that's just tears, I'm like, oh, we're skipping that one. I have HBO right now. Justice World is on there.
You say Justice World?
I did. Because
Justice
that's
World.
What it ruins.
Did you like Jurassic World and Justice League? Well, you're going to love Justice World. Come to a park where they implant dinosaur DNA into people, and now they got dinosaur powers, and they form the Justice.
Okay.
The Jurassic League. The Jurassic League.
I actually want to see this crossover where the Guardians of the Galaxy team up with the Justice League to defeat dinosaurs. I would. That would be the best DC project yet by far.
They come together to defeat the extreme dinosaurs.
Amalgam Films presents. Do you remember Amalgam? Or maybe Amalgam. I
Amblin?
I mispronounce words all the time. Was it Amblin?
Amblin Entertainment? Yeah.
No, not Amblin Entertainment. I think Amalgam Comics.
The Amalgam Comics, where they had they took Superman and Captain America and they smashed them together and they were Super Soldier, and then Wolverine and Batman were Dark Claw, and Storm and Wonder Woman were the Amazon, I believe that's what this whole where they just went, well, what if the universes merged into one hybrid universe? Yeah, it was I remember. Those have come up a few times. In fact, I've heard some people say they would like to see a crossover in the comics between the Amalgam universe. Even though I think Flashpoint screwed over the Amalgam universe, I can't remember how that worked in the comics because I remember Flashpoint.
Flashpoint gets weird. Flashpoint is the Terminator of the DC comic series.
The Terminator Genesis. Let's get specific. The Terminator Genesis of the DC. Whenever there's a problem, Flashpoint it.
Tim, are you up to date on the Flash live action series?
Oh, yeah, no, I finished watching last season, yeah.
Okay, because I think I watched the second season and maybe a little bit of the third season, but, does every season just end with Flashpoint? Is that what they're doing? Because the end of season 1 was Flashpoint, and then the end of season 2 was Flashpoint again, and I was just like, how many times can they... wait, it's time travel. They can do it every time.
Yeah. Well, they began season 3 with that's the official. They're calling it Flashpoint.
Okay.
And then everything after that point, and when the fans point out stuff that doesn't make sense, or because in season 4 they bring in a new character who is supposed to be dead because they're mentioned in season 1 as a little Easter egg, and then the fans are like, why is he alive now? And the producers are like, oh no, Flashpoint. So anytime someone comes up, they're just like, oh, Flashpoint. So anytime someone comes up and the fans are like, why does he have a beard now? Flashpoint gave him a beard. That's what happened.
Every time they say Flashpoint, they should just have Reverse Flash pop up in his time machine because Deus Ex Machina.
Reverse Flash has died several times in this show, and that's not a spoiler. He just keeps dying or literally being erased from history, and they're just like, how are you still here? Time travel. And they just or he's got a time clone or time. What's the term? Time replicant? No, that's not right.
Time-a-jigger?
I can't. What is it? Oh, time remnant. Time remnant. Which is basically a time clone.
Well, no. So that is. I looked this up. That is the thing with Reverse Flash. He essentially just becomes a time remnant or he becomes unstuck in the universes.
Basically, yeah.
He's the evil Billy Pilgrim of the multiverse. No, things get messed up. He has no at a certain point he has no origin universe just because they were like, hey, let's make him undestroyable. Yeah. Because Wait, so. Well, you opened with Flashpoint. That may have destroyed the Amalgam universe.
Well, I remember I remember seeing online when it was explained, because it wasn't just that when the Flash went back to correct the timeline, because he messes with his time. He creates basically Back to the Future Part 2 on super steroids. It really is. That's what Flashpoint is. It's Back to the Future 2, but with superheroes. And then he time travels to correct the correction he made, which caused all of this, and then he gets back to normal time, and things are kind of normal again, and that's how you got the reboot.
Except when Flashpoint!
Yeah. And then I remember hearing something there was a couple of other, there was one or two other universes that DC Comics owned, and they got merged into the New 52 universe, aka the DC Comics reboot.
No,
it was something like that.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. Which is because they purchased another company, which is the reason that Alan Moore created archetype characters for Watchmen, because he was going to use these characters from this different comic company owned, but then DC bought him and was like, no, you can't do that. And he was like, okay, fuck you guys. Look at the characters I can make that are your characters, but not enough that it's plagiarism. Totally legal. Go fuck yourself. The thing, before we move on to the next topic, the comics that I would love to see, I don't think they could do it in a movie form, but what I would love to see possibly is Netflix series, and I do notice that we don't appear to be discussing the other DC trailer.
We'll talk about it real quick right now, because we got to get on to our movie review because we're running low on time. DC also has a new live-action TV series coming out that will be on their streaming service, aka their version of Netflix, Titans, based on the Teen Titans, the comic book, and
they're not teens anymore. They're not teens.
Yeah. Most people are probably familiar with the Teen Titans animated series that was on Cartoon Network in the early 2000s. In this version, Robin's already in his 20s. He's not Nightwing yet. He's still Robin. He seems to be in another city. I'm guessing Bloodhaven. Starfire seems to be older, and I just say that because I know the actress who's playing her is in her late 20s. I don't know if they're going to try to pull her off as younger or something. And Beast Boy, I'm not even sure of his age, but the actor playing him is the guy who voiced Hero in Big Hero 6, so that's kind of cool. And then the actress playing Raven, she's pretty young. I'm guessing this is her first big role. In the trailer, we see Robin save somebody who's getting mugged by 6 or 7 different people, something like that. And at one point, he gets some of the guys in a headlock, grabs the guy's gun, and shoots 2 or 3 other muggers. Then he steps on a guy's head, breaks his neck, and I'm not just making it up. You hear the snap in the trailer, and then he's like, F Batman. And that's what's making people angry, because Robin doesn't kill, and this isn't Jason Todd Robin. This is the original Dick Grayson Robin. This isn't Jason Todd who did kill when he became Red Hood. So it's not even that. And it's just like, DC, stop the dark and edgy stuff. That you dark and edgy the characters that make sense. Not this. Oh man, people were already uneasy about this show when set photos were released several months back showing the actors in their outfits, and a lot of people did not like the Starfire's outfit because, and there's no way around it, she looks like a hooker. She looks like a hooker. I am gonna give it the benefit of the doubt that because Starfire is an alien, when we meet her character, she's just landed on Earth, she grabbed whatever clothes she could find, and she doesn't realize what she's dressed like. I'm hoping that's what it is. Raven, I don't know what to say about.
Maybe she's just a sex-positive woman and needs to make her rent. But I would say the things that probably like some. I'm actually not familiar with Teen Titans. I missed out on that in my childhood. But from what there becomes that weird thing when you're making a comic book product where you're trying to hit your pre-existing fan base, but you're also trying to hit the more mainstream. And it looks like in this they're probably going to have more success, if I had to guess, with people that are not familiar with the Teen Titans or the comic books in general. Because what I got out of the trailer when I watched it was, fuck Batman, and there was not a single shot in daytime. Not every single one of them was like, hey. Did you think we had too much lighting in Batman versus Superman? Well, here's even darker.
Yeah.
But
I think the lightest it gets is when Raven's sitting against a white wall. I think that's. But anyway, we really need to move on.
What I wanted to discuss, I'm interested in seeing how Titans and how Netflix thing works out. But what I really want to see Netflix probably do, both Marvel and DC, the most interesting comics, in my opinion, that they haven't touched yet are the Marvel's What If series. Which, if you're not familiar, that's where they took it was like one-off things. Right. It was basically like the Twilight Zone of Marvel, where it would be like, what if Wolverine went crazy and killed all of Xavier's students except for Jubilee, who had to now fight him off? And similarly for DC, the Bizarro comics.
Where they had the Bizarro Flash, Bizarro Batman, Bizarro.
Well, but also it would just be like weird, universal. Yeah. And if they were to do a Netflix series of both of those, preferably, it would be fantastic. But without further ado, yes. I was busy making people laugh in a hotel room, but you went to see the 37th film in this franchise.
It's time for Mission Impossible. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Tom Cruise has returned for the 6th film in the franchise, Mission Impossible Fallout. In this one, we see super secret agent Ethan Hunt return with his usual group of IMF agents, where nuclear weapons are now out in the open and they need to get them back. Unfortunately, the CIA wants in on it this time. They don't trust the IMF, and they've put in Walker, played by
Texas Ranger.
Nope, that would have been silly, but I would have been down for it, oddly enough. But no, Walker, played by Henry Cavill, who people will know as the movie live-action Superman in the DC films. And he gets in.
I'm disappointed already. I'm glad I skipped this.
Yeah. So you see a clashing of styles. Like, they say, like IMF, as they say in the trailer, they're like a scalpel, where the CIA apparently is like a hammer. So you see this clashing of thing where, like, Tom Cruise's character, Ethan Hunt, and Henry Cavill's character, they both have very different styles of how they handle situations. Cavill's like straightforward, kill him, get it done, bag him, shoot him, do whatever, hunt them down, and Ethan's got the more strategic. He's playing basically Cavill plays checkers, and Tom Cruise plays chess. Their characters, he's like, we need to find him, we need to get in the information before we make this move. Then we can make that move, blah, 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 blah. So there's a lot of conflict in the film between the two characters. Once again, in this movie, the action is really good and exciting. A lot of that comes from the fact that Tom Cruise does a lot of his own stunts. I think they basically, unless they tell him flat out, no, you can't do that, he does most of them. Though he was injured during the filming of this past one. He's okay now. But, yeah, that does actually add a great layer to the film, because then you never question who's that dangling off a rope or dangling off the side of the building. No, it's Tom Cruise. You can see his face. There's no cover-up. It just really adds to the tension. It's great. Simon Pegg and Ving Rhames also return as his fellow IMF agents, helping him out.
Has Ving Rhames been in all 6 movies as well?
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I haven't seen all the films, but I know he's... I think the only one he may have not been in was the second one, but I haven't seen the second one, so don't quote me on that. But he probably was. And he's down for it. Vin Rames, I think he enjoys doing it. We also see returning characters like Rebecca Ferguson's Isla Foss.
This is a 22-year-old franchise.
Yeah. You gotta remember, they took there was the first one happened, and then the second one happened, and then there was that big gap between the second and third one, because the second one didn't do as well as the first one. But then it's been ever since the third one, it's been going along pretty well. Only about 2 or 3 years in between each movie. Doing very well. Like I said, Rebecca Ferguson's character Isla Foss, the British secret agent, comes back in this, and she's also kind of fighting against Ethan because they have conflicting missions. Angela Bassett comes in as Erica Sloan, the director of the CIA, and she is mean in this movie. She just doesn't give any respect to the IMF. She's also, so it's like Ethan, he's fighting Henry Cavill basically because they both have different styles of how to complete the mission. He's fighting the director of the CIA. He's fighting against a fellow secret agent that was an ally of his, and there was a romantic stuff going on between the two of them in the last film. They were definitely interested there. So
basically, the whole movie is fighting people who are supposed to be his allies, at least in theory.
Yes. Now, as with all these movies, and this is part of the spy film thing. There's twists and turns, and someone's betrayed us, or can I really trust you? And just after all these Mission Impossible films, it just doesn't have as much of the same impact as it did, because now you're expecting, okay, what's this person going to do? You some of it you can kind of see coming. That's the one part. And plus, there was something that was leaked about the film with one of the characters. So if you heard about this leak ahead of time, it really killed the one twist in the film. So that really hurt it. But I will say, when there was a double or triple twist at one point in the film, in a way it was handled okay, the first twist, I saw that coming. It's oh, twist, nicely handled. Oh, twist again. Okay. They did a triple twist to save the first twist, because the first twist wasn't that. It wasn't
the first twist was a fake out.
Yeah. Well, not. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to say a fake out, but I will say it's I like that. That was handled well. Other stuff in that, we do see some other returning characters from the previous films. I won't say a hell of a lot. If you want to know, you can look it up on the cast list on IMDb. So you'll be like, oh, they're coming back. Alec Baldwin is also in this film. He was introduced in the last film.
I'm going to take a guess that Emilio Estevez is not one of the characters they bring back.
No. You're gone, Emilio.
Emilio!
Full American Dad reference there. But anyway, yeah, so that happens. It's exciting, once again we get to see the cool Mission Impossible technology, the whole them making the fake face thing and putting it over their heads, which at this point that's another thing in the franchise that's getting kind of dull. Crap, almost hit the cord there. I did hit the cord. My apologies. So yeah, there's certain aspects of this franchise that for me, I'm yeah, this is stuff they were doing in the first film, and I understand it's part of the movie because it's what they did in the TV show the movies were based on. So, but I still enjoyed it. It was still fun. Tom Cruise, I'll say I don't know if it's probably not going to be the last one, because I know he really enjoys doing these films. But Tom, he's 52 years old at this point. You're in great shape for your age, but your age is starting to show. It's getting a little hard for me to believe that you're still doing this kind of stuff with that. Because if you watch all the movies, he should be crippled at this point. He should be straight up crippled with breathing out of a tube.
Look, he's the Tom Brady of MIF, okay? I'm just assuming Pittsburgh hates Tom Cruise.
Who knows? They're well, I did do Jack Reacher here, and we were But anyway, so would I recommend you see it or not? If you're a Mission Impossible fan, you're gonna go see it. So I'm not gonna. So this is for everybody else. Yeah, it's a fun movie. I think it's worth going to go take a look at it. Once again, the action's great. If you're just looking for some great action in a film, you're gonna get it. There are some once again great stunts. Tom Cruise doing his thing. I just think that the franchise might be reaching a conclusion soon, because seriously, someone else has to save the world. It can't all be Ethan Hunt. But anyway, that's all we got for our movie review.
Do you got anything to let our viewers know about that you got coming up?
I I got a gig in February, but that's in February, so we're not going to talk about it. I was at. I do want to give a shout out to local.
Please throw the date out. They've got calendars. I mean, I assume our viewers have. They have Google. Google has calendars.
I will say real quick, I want to give a shout out to local comedian Gab Vanessa for letting me on her show this past week. I had a lot of fun. Met some cool comedians I had not met before. It's always good to meet other comedians, make some connections. And Gab was great. She was a great host, and I really appreciate her having on.
Where was that show at?
The show was at Brillo Box.
Is it a monthly show?
Yes, it's a monthly show. But I'm not going to be in it every month, but I was in it. I'll be in another show with her again. Why am I still whispering? I want to be in another show of Gab's. I don't know when. She's going to hit me up. But anyway, I just want to thank Gab for having me on the show. But anyway, guys, that was POVincent. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please tune in next week with a new movie review, all kinds of news, what's going on, hopefully an update on what's going to happen with James Gunn. But until then, guys, thank you for viewing things through our perspective. Take it easy.
Take it easy, guys. Well, Vince, I actually forgot to tell the viewers that this Sunday I'm going to be on a show at that place, Full Pint Brewery.
Cool.
Is going to be doing a show at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He says as he fumbles around with stuff, as he fumbles around with things. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. One more time, POVincent. Have a great night, guys.
It's like the world took a brush and threw it in the air. I'd say the Lord painted you with the devil's hair.